Um, I have to say this is a first for me in interviewing a mystic and having a conversation with a mystic. So I'm here to learn and to understand more about your philosophy and how your work is helping to achieve a better world. It's great to see so many colleagues here today. In the World Bank, of course, our mission is to help reduce or eliminate poverty in the world. And to improve the living standards of the people of the world. And we live in a planet where there is still much to do, and I know your work is also working to that goal as well. I want today to start with where we converge, where we see the world in the same way. And as I've read and listened to you talking, and thanks to the internet, I was able to watch you on YouTube. You tell us that humanity has the necessary capability and resources to address every problem or almost every problem in the planet. But the only missing element is our willingness. And I think that you work to kindle this willingness within the millions of people who follow you, and they work to extend their hearts, their heads, and their minds to the betterment of humanity. Here at the World Bank, and I know there are colleagues here from the IMF as well, we also work to this goal. And I think by definition, because we work in development, we're all optimists. So I'd like to start by asking how we can work to make the world a better place. You're in a room full of economists who look at poverty through the lens of numbers, statistics. I always say we can only make a decision if we have a spreadsheet. But can you tell us how you define poverty and what you mean by raising human consciousness and how this can contribute to ending world poverty?
Good morning to everyone. I think, Annette, it's best that this much abused word consciousness, we better define that in some sense. So when we look at our experience of life, when we look at individual experience, everything that human beings experience here is coming from what they see, what they hear, what they smell, taste and touch, or in other words, through the five sense organs. Five sense organs, in the very nature of things, can perceive only that which is physical. You can see only that which is physical. That which is not physical, you cannot see. Similarly, to touch, smell, hear, everything has to be physical. So what is the basis of physicality? Physicality means a defined boundary. If there is no boundary, there is no possibility of physicality. We can call this a physical body because there's a defined boundary. If there was no definition to this would not be physical. So, everything physical has to have a defined boundary. Entire human experience right now is coming from this defined boundary. Whatever structures you try to create, whatever good intentions you have, once again it ends up as one more boundary, one more division, one more segment in the world. One more caste or creed in its own way. Every one of these things which have become terrible divisions in humanity, I believe they all started with good intention. I don't think they started with a negative intention, but how many divisions have happened, how we have exploited each other. Talking about poverty, do we have the resource? Well, people are… if you look at the numbers, you said without a spreadsheet you can't make decisions. If you look at the spreadsheet of the differentiation between what is poor, what is rich in this world, it's obscene to say the least. I'm saying, people are saying the amount of money spent on pet food in Europe and America is enough to take care of basic health care for the entire humanity. It's obscene to say the least. So, this has happened not with bad intention, this has all happened with good intention. But because human experience is limited to their physical nature, they're trying to think beyond that. But you cannot think beyond your experience. You can think and again you'll end up in another cubicle and another cubicle. So we're talking about consciousness. When we say consciousness, we are talking about a dimension beyond physical nature. When I say dimension beyond physical nature, what is physical to us is all accumulated. This body is an accumulation of the food that we've eaten. What we call as the mind, the content of the mind is something that we accumulated by our impressions and experiences. What you accumulate can only be limited. You cannot accumulate unlimited. You cannot accumulate that which is boundless. So now we are talking about solutions in a boundless way. When we talk about solving problems seamlessly without thinking who is you and who is me, we need an inner experience which is beyond our physical nature. Only then we will identify beyond this, because human mind functions from the identities we have taken. Once we identify ourselves as something, knowingly, unknowingly, we are always trying to protect that identity. So to bring a human being to that dimension of experience, that he or she can function beyond identifications, is what needs to happen. So when we say well-being, from the imperial times, well-being meant taking whatever is there everywhere and bringing it to one place and creating well-beings in certain people. We kind of evolved out of that. Now we are saying well-being means this continent or that continent. Some people, you're a World Bank, you're thinking of the entire world, but we're still leaving out a whole lot of things. Which are a part of our well-being. The well-being of every creature on this planet, the well-being of every tree and plant, the well-being of every microorganism is connected with our well-being. This is not ecological awareness, this is consciousness. If your experience of life was beyond the limitations of your physicality, you would just know this by experience. When you know this by experience, you don't have to generate intention, you will just do the right thing. We have to bring the world to that place, that's a long way, but at least we have to bring the leadership in the world to that place. When I say leadership, it is only a question of maybe 5,000 people on the planet. You know, when I was at the Economic Forum, they asked me, Sadhguru, if there's one thing we can do for you, which will change the world, what is it? I said, I will name 25 people. You give them to me for 5 days. You will see in 3 years, you will see a significant change on the planet. They asked, who are these people? I named the 25 heads of states of the major nations on the planet. Give them to me for 5 days, you will see everything will change. Because there is money, there is resource, there is technology, only the intent is missing. But the intent is missing not because of bad intentions, not because of some evil in their minds. Intent is missing because there is no larger experience within themselves.